Hello, friends. Namaste. Good morning or good evening, everyone. This is Lavanya. I live in Australia. I'll be the host for this session with divine blessings of Dr. Brahmashi Subhash Patriji and Swarnamala Patriji. Let us start our today's session. So today we have Senior Pyramid Master Sohana Doodle with us from California. Sohana will be sharing about the path of awakening together. So friends, join me in welcoming Sohana. Sohana, over to you. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Thank you, Lavanya Garu. It was so nice, and I would like to thank you for giving me this initially. And before starting, my all pranams to Brahmarshi Pitama Patriji Garu, because without him, today this wouldn't have been this easy for us to actually know about the greatest facts of universe and greatest facts of ourselves especially. So it's so beautiful sometimes to understand that how beautiful all these connections are and how beautiful that we are with our superpower. So it's all so important for us to realize that what we are. So today's topic is going to be about path of awakening together. So path of awakening together, the name itself represents lots of love in it. So path of awakening together, so together always says that we are not just alone. So let's try to understand that what together actually means in this, and with actually one of the beautiful story relating to it. So let's all dig into it and try to understand it much more in deeper. So before that, I actually have a PPT to share for that. So just give me a moment. So let me know that if you guys can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So today, path of awakening together. So why are we trying to actually understand that we have to awaken? So if it says that we have to awaken, then what's the reason behind it? It clearly says that we are not fully awakened, or we are not fully aware of our situation, or especially with our present moment. So where does it actually lead us, or where does it take us? So in this, we can clearly see that spirituality over suffering. So spirituality over suffering. Suffering is the only greatest reason that it clearly explains us or clearly shows us that we are not fully aware, or we are not fully aligned. So these are the two things, that we are not aware in this present moment, and we are not aligned with ourselves in this present moment. So that is what which leads us to suffering. So how do we get rid of this? Like, how do we end up this suffering? So every person in this world, either a small kid or the old elder person, rich or poor, no matter whomsoever it may be, but every person has a sort of suffering. Every person. It's just that either mentally, physically, emotionally, or in either ways. Sometimes you don't even know the why are we suffering mentally, or there are like many things that we go through every day. But sometimes we fail to understand that what are we missing, or why is the suffering with us. So here now let's try to understand. So what helps us getting rid of this? So it's just that spirituality, what does spirituality means in this? So spirituality is all about knowing about yourself and the power you possess, and how do we utilize that power aligning with ourselves. So it's that simple. So now let us specially see how to let go, with the most beautiful story, and about a very well-known great historic spiritual master, and even a god. So this is very beautiful story that I was a lot impressed about when I actually started reading or trying to know about very simple things, which is trying to explain us that how do we actually get rid of everything. Everything doesn't mean that we should leave everything and completely, end up being alone or end up being idle. But it says that getting rid of all the thoughts which are letting us accept our higher self or accept the higher knowledge that we actually need to possess. So here it's the story about Prince Siddhartha, that how he turned to Buddha Bhagwan. So he was a prince like everyone. Those days it was kings, kingdoms, and queens, right? So these days everyone is a king and everyone has their own kingdom. So it's very simple. That those days it was only very unique. So now everyone is also, in one particular point we are prince or princess, and then later we turn to a man or adults, especially like kings. So once you start standing up on your own legs, then you call yourself as a king because you're making it for yourself. So the same way, being a man, how did he turn to Bhagwan? So this was the statement that I was so fascinated about. I've heard a lot about Buddha as a philosopher, philosophical teacher, a guru, but Buddha Bhagwan, so like how did he become that? So that was a lot curious because what does Bhagwan say? It's always that they have all the powers that what they actually want. Like, if you just want to do something, and is there something that impossible for God? Everything is possible. So what's the difference between a man and a god? So that was the things, these were the things which were actually helping me. These questions were helping me understand that completely, that how do we transform ourselves, or what are we missing in this process. So let's see what's there in the next thing. So at the age of 29 years, he was a man, and then he turned as a prince. And then again, at the age of 35, it was straight long 7 years of hustle, 7 years of sadhana he did, like, in the towns, villages, and everywhere in the forest. So he just took charge of himself in everything, mentally, physically, emotionally. With all the seven bodies, he healed everything, and he got over everything, which is the things he wasn't unable to control, or the things he was unable to tune. So starting when the journey he started at the age of 29, he was thinking that how do I control my mind. And then at the age of 35, he started understanding that it's not about controlling, it's all about tuning your mind. So that is where he ends up. So that is called, from Siddhartha, he became a Buddha Bhagwan. Buddha, even now, today, our Brahmarshi Pitama Patriji Garu is also a Buddha. It's just that a name given to the enlightened person. So, who is the utmost intellect of themselves? So, the main reason that here we understand is suffering. Suffering is the only thing which is not letting us fulfill our dreams or fulfill our wishes, or just imagine something in this present moment. If we are not uh, with the suffering, it's so easy for us to think about, or just step ahead into the next minute very easily. That is what we are lacking in. Every second or every minute we are just held up either with our past or either with our future, but never that we are ready or courage enough to just take a step ahead. So that is where we are completely lacking in. So let us see what actually suffering means. So suffering is incapable of satisfying. So what is satisfying here? We are not satisfied. Why are we not satisfied? Because we are unable to accept what we are. We are unable to accept ourselves. We are unable to accept this reality and everything. When there is lack of awareness, there is even lack of acceptance. When there is lack of acceptance, we cannot surrender to the situations. So it's all of this chain. So when does this happen? When do we satisfy? When we accept, when we surrender, out of all, to let go. What do we have to do? If we have to let go, so it's all that we need to forgive. First of all, forgive ourselves, forgive other people, forgive the situations or problems you get to. So this is all the things that we fail to do. Why do we fail to do? Because we always have a story that we make up for ourselves. Who is generating the stories in our mind? It's just that our knowledge, what all knowledge we possess, the half knowledge, or till this point what all knowledge we possess, still we are not up to the mark. But the knowledge what we possess, with that only we can make up stories for ourselves. So which is not actually good path for ourselves. It doesn't do it doesn't harms anyone. It is just going to affect our lives. So when we affect ourselves, what happens? Our environment gets affected. With our environment, our families, cities, villages, our workplaces, everything, it's a chain. So here the finest secret that I wanted to share is, this is a secret from New Energy Creator Series. So every person needs to understand that our existence here in this world, on this earth, is releasing lot of energies. You release a positive thought, it spreads lot of positivity to this planet. When you start generating negative thoughts, it starts spreading negativity across this globe. So which is very harmful or harming everyone, but we never realize. So it's just that chain. Like, as we just discussed about the chain, that we are affected, our family is affected. Imagine yourself being in a most irritable situation, that maybe you were frustrated with your work or something like that. After having a long day, you come back to your home and you just start quarreling with your life partner, and then it spreads over even onto your kids, and then later on it keeps spreading all around, one from the other. So if there are three people in a family, life partners and a baby, so three people affected, and three people with the three different directions, and these three people communicating the other set of people, it's a chain continuing. So it started from somewhere and it is going to somewhere. So this is what is completely stopping us, so incapable of satisfying ourselves. So that is why the great masters, great grandmasters today that we are reading, listening to, everyone says only one thing, that be in this present moment. When can you be in this present moment? When you accept, surrender, and forgive. So if you do these three, you will be completely satisfying with this present moment. So our guru Brahmarshi Pitama Patriji always says that you cannot make up stories which are harming your growth, but he always says that you need to end up summarizing the situations that you have dealt with in a positive way. So that is what I've learned from him. Whatever situations you go through, whatever problems you go through, it's just that you should understand that you were not aware, so you have learned something. So always drive yourself in a positive way, so that you will end up doing good for yourselves. Then it keeps on spreading. So the next thing, yeah, this is my story. We already started it, but so this person, just like us, he was in a kingdom called Kapilavastu Kingdom. So he was a only son to the largest family, and the kings and kings of kings. So it was so big family. So do you understand something? Today we have everything. Right now we need to be so grateful for this moment, that we have a shelter, we have food, we have water, everything. What all we want for the daily based survival. So we have everything, but why do we have to meditate? So why this prince, when he was about to become a king, why he had to just get into the path of liberation? What was the reason? So this was most interesting part for me always. Especially these things, I would suggest that I have read it from the book called Buddha's Wife. That was the most beautiful narration till date, that a wife explaining about the unknown facts about her husband and how it was, because we always heard about Buddha as a guru, as a Bhagwan, but not as a person. So this is very realistic, and this is something that we need to understand, because even we are also born like him, just to as a biological mother, and it was so common. He is not like, a magic god coming from a sort of angel. He's not like that. He's just like us, took birth, he survived, he learned many things, and then he wanted to understand what liberation is. So that is how he started his journey. So let's see what happened in Kapila Kingdom. So today, understand, like, we see many people, or even ourselves sometimes, when we wanted to actually see the fact or the true thing behind the situations or behind our current situation, there are many things stopping us, especially the way that we are not able to accept it. Maybe our mind is not letting us, you know uh, just accept the higher knowledge, that what is behind the situation or what is behind the problems. The same way, for some people it might be the environment or surroundings. So every person has some things to stop. So just the way even this person had many things that were stopping him, like us. So did he give up in the path of liberation, though these many things, his own family, mother, father, his wife, and by the time he was starting his path, he had a son too. So he had these many responsibilities, but did he take it for granted? No, he always was right on path, because he understood that there is something else, and he understood that this is not just for being born and getting rich and again dying. And do you understand that this is all very impermanence, and it is so hard to take it? That is why it took 7 long years for him to understand this impermanence. So even when I read this book, I was also a lot physical world oriented, very passionate, very competitive. I was like this, but the moment I started reading that book, I started being so blissful in every moment and every second, no matter what situations are. So that's the beautiful part in this. So I would like to say in this slide is, no matter though it's your mind or though people around you, you don't have to bother, or you don't have to answer anything or anyone. It's all you got to do is answer yourself. How better you're trying to explain yourself is all you got to check every minute. If you're not if you're failing to explain yourself, then it clearly says you're not fully aware. See, we are doing these many meditations, not just this meditation, any meditation you take in the world, any yoga exercises, things we are doing to make ourselves peaceful is just that we are trying to get rid of the hooks that what we are holding about the past or about the future or something else which is completely draining our energy. So it clearly says that we are practicing to be aware. So when you just try exercising this in this present moment, keep counting minutes, that how many minutes you are trying to stay not thinking about past or future. So that is all you gotta keep a check. So the moment you keep meditating, and after a point I realize, see, it's just nothing, it's so simple. We close our eyes and we sit for how much ever your age is. So that those many minutes we're going to sit and close our eyes and observe our breath. So all here I understood is we are just practicing it to do it in every second and every moment. That's it, we are tuning our mind. So it's not that some special kriya we are doing it. It's something that we are already breathing and everything is there, but our awareness is not there. So that's the problem. Every suffering you take, this is what you got to practice in such situations. Stop blaming yourself, stop blaming every person. Then you understand where is the problem. It's always with your mind, that your mind is not letting you accept, or your mind is not letting you understand the reality where you are exactly. So even that is what it goes behind this person called Siddhartha in Kapila kingdom. So that is what took 7 long years for him to get rid of all this. So in the next thing is, so all the suffering made him think. So after going through these many situations, that he had a family and he didn't want to get into this path, it's just that you don't have to leave everything. It's just that you have to leave those thoughts. So it's just so beautiful statement, that detachment and attachment. So detaching all the negative emotions, detaching all the negative thoughts, and that is how you get attached to yourself. I there are many statements or many things that we hear about Gautam Buddha, that he always talks about detachment. Many of the spiritual masters talk about detachment. But detachment, understand something, these we have many gurus today, and they're trying to preach us. Are they detached? They are detached with their bad deeds, detached with their bad thoughts, detached with their bad emotions. That is why they are able to accept every person who is coming to them to gain knowledge, to gain the higher knowledge. They are not detached, they are completely attached to the whole world. Unconditional love, how beautiful it is. Even Gautam Buddha didn't just leave his family or didn't just ignore it. He felt all the world is his family. How beautiful it is. He could accept every person with no blame games, with no ego, with nothing. So it's all about path of awakening together means just this much. So we had something that needs to be looked in the previous slides. So we indulge in thoughts of suffering. So this is what we go through, right? Every person, why me? Why only me? Always, every situation comes to me. But if you start, that is why our Guru Patriji says that keep hearing to the experiences. Then you understand what every person is going through, and you're not alone in this. So everyone is going through some or the other thing. Then you understand this is so common and this is not very special, or this is only not the thing you have. So this is what the thought process we always go with. The second one is thinking about getting free from thoughts. We just discussed this, right? Detachment with attachment. So how can this go from me is the biggest question, right? Do you remember the story of Kissa Gautami? So there was a lady called Kissa Gautami. She was even called very famously as mustard seeds woman. So mustard seeds woman, what does she ask Gautam Buddha? She alone asked that, how can I get through, how can I get this go from me completely? So that was the question she was always asking him. How can I just get mukti? How can I be so peaceful like you? You're so peaceful in this present moment. How are you actually maintaining this? So that is what she asked him. So every time when we start our path or this process, we get exhausted, right? So the most serious problem in this ongoing world is overthinking. We just we are all in a frame of mind that um, just with maybe overthinking, the situation might get resolved, the problem might get a solution. So we keep on thinking and thinking, and it's like beyond, we have no limits. Thoughts are free, right? So we keep doing it. consistently, so that we might find some or the other solution, or maybe the problem would have been solved. So this is the thought process we possess, right? So here what happens is, thinking is important. So our guru says, more than thinking, common sense is important. If you are in this present moment, you will possess common sense automatically. So when you have common sense, you don't have to think. Everything seems so simple. So nothing looks so complex. So usually what we do is we keep thinking. Most of our times we lose it in thinking. We never make those times efficient. So when we lose it in thinking, there won't be anything left for us to do it in act. So why are we not doing it? No enough courage. That's the biggest problem. So how many people, how many people just sit and think about themselves that they're courage enough to deal with any situation in this present moment? Spirituality doesn't mean being soft. It's being adventurous, heavily adventurous, being very courageous. You need to be ready for any moment, but conditions apply with acceptance, forgiving, and surrendering. So if you don't have these three, it clearly says you don't have this present moment with you. You have already lost it, started losing it. So always keep a check with that, how aware you are. It's all about these three things. So the next thing, getting free from these thoughts, so not suffering. So here it clearly says, just a couple of minutes ago we discussed, our guru says, listen to every peer experiences, whomsoever you meet in your daily life, just talk to them, listen to their experiences. That is what but Siddhartha's wife Yashodhara used to do. They all made a compassion circle, and they used to listen to each and other experiences. What were they going through? So they started understanding that suffering is so common, simple for everyone. Why is this happening? Just because lack of knowledge, ignorance of our higher knowledge. So that is what which is making us suffer these days. So the four noble truths that Gautam Buddha says, or Gautam Buddha discovered, these are the four things. First one is, there is always suffering. You can't avoid it. And there is a cause or origin of suffering. So when you understand the cause or origin of suffering, then it's very easy for us what to do and how to overcome that. So it's just the way when you cross your first grade, you move to your second grade, right? You move to your second class, and after second class, third class. After school, you go to college, and after college, you go to work. You can't avoid this process, right? The same way, after level 1 suffering, you have learned a lesson, so you will be taught with the level 2 lessons. So it keeps on going. We are only here to learn, and this is what we always need to understand. So the third thing is end of suffering. Yes, there is definitely end of suffering, but only the three things, again, conditions apply. So if you start tuning yourself, those working on those three facts, that we are how badly we are lacking in, or how good we are doing it. So that is how we can check with ourselves every second. Then we can easily overcome our suffering. So I can clearly say suffering is being in the present moment. That is how we just get rid of suffering. So, but it's always important never to forget the lesson that we have learned. It's always important. You want to end suffering, it's not just important being in the present moment. Being in the present moment, with that, along with that, you even have to remember the lesson you have learned. Then that is what it makes sensible, or else everything looks completely senseless. So the next thing is, there is a path out of suffering. Okay, so here Gautam Buddha says, Gautam Buddha, the other part that he had explained is Eightfold Path. So the fourth noble truth is, to get rid of the suffering, you need to follow these Eightfold Path. So let's see what this Eightfold Path is. So first thing is samadhi. Samadhi is right views. So imagine yourself, for all the 8 things here, if you don't satisfy those 3 things, all this doesn't become right. Everything might turn neutral or everything might turn against us. So with the awareness, you need to possess right views. When you are completely aware, you can see the reality, or you can see the present situation with as it is, know with your stories. So that's lot important. Just accepting the reality is right views. So Sankapu is right intentions. So right intentions are, when you have right views, it's very easy for us to make up right intentions. It's just that, if you see, imagine something, if a builder is building a, you know, building a maybe a big huge complex. So what if he fails to do a right planning there? When he has a wrong, not that good view or not that good knowledge, what he does, he tries to make a plan with what all knowledge just he possesses, but not actually how it has to be. So after that, what he does, he starts getting into the constructing part, and he constructs just as much as he knows. So will that go according to the requirements that the customer wants? Sometimes it might fail, just with the lack of their ignorance, I mean their lack of awareness or their ignorance. So that is what which leads us the right views and right intentions. So this is a little cute example that just you can also see. Today I'm a software engineer. So is it possible for me to go and construct a building with a right plan and infrastructure? Will that happen? It won't work, because I don't know, like I have my requirements, that's true, but I don't know how things has to be placed. So that is where we lack in most of the times. So always a right view is important, right intentions. With the right intentions, what we do, our speech. So samavacha is always the right speech. So here right speech, speech is very important, and this is what even I have heard about. I have heard from our guru Patriji Garu about Vakshetra. So how consciously we are speaking, and how meaningful we are speaking, and how meaningfully we are relating it. So are we losing the chain? See, for a second, if you just lose your consciousness, it's so easy for us to lose a word. So easy. So it's just that always right views, right intentions. When you have right intentions, always you will be habitual, and you will be, your lifestyle becomes completely the right way, right? So next one is right action. So right action, this is a chain again. See, when you have a right speech, you intend to do right actions. So what kind of actions are right, what kind of actions are wrong, why this is right and why this is wrong? Let's see. So something which is here, before this, I would like to tell you something. Everything is a self-reflection to the in this outer world. So if you have right intentions, everything reflects in a right way. So if you end up having wrong intentions, everything reflects in a way which is against us. The same way, here right actions is something, as we just discussed, that our existence is releasing a lot of energies. So when we are not in a in a mind frame of making the right actions, so where can it lead? So it's just that everything starts working against us, everything. So we never understand that this is just because of us. So we always have a blame game story that we make up. Okay, this might be maybe on the situations. Secondly, this might be maybe because of the people. Third thing, this is so common, and for me, I after all this, I feel very funny about this. We actually even blame our luck, blame the gods, right? So we keep doing this, I did this much and I've worshipped you this much, but this didn't work in my favor. So uh, in these ways we keep blaming. So that was very funny for me that we started blaming even the superpowers. So it's just that doubting ourselves. So here, right action is even the same thing. So always, either views, intentions, speech, or the actions, everything needs to be with your awareness. It's just that never lose a moment, I would say. So the next one is right way. If right way of earning a living. So right way of earning a living. So how do we possess? So when you have all the four above, obviously you will possess the right way, right lifestyle. And the next one is right effort. So what is right effort? What is right effort is always uh, for all these eight things, it's the only base thing that you need to keep checking that the things you are doing is working against yourself or working for yourself. That is all you need to, sorry, you need to understand. So samasati, next samasati is right concentration. So right concentration on what? So just focusing on your breath is your right concentration. So that is how you start tuning yourself. So then the way how deeply you are focusing on your breath is just that how deeply you are focusing on your life, on your spirituality, on your learning, on your lifestyle, everything. So everything comes into that. And for all this, what helps at the maximum level is right meditation. So, what is right meditation? Today we are practicing anapanasati, anapanasati, the in and out breath. So, this was uh, discovered by Brahmarshi Pitam Patriji, but it was actually from Gautam Buddha. So even our guru Patriji even speaks a lot about Gautam Buddha. So but it was so interesting that I forgot that fact actually, that today we are doing something anapanasati is of Gautam Buddha's. So in my mind it was all because Patriji gave it to me. So in my mind it's always Patriji that he is my guru and he gave it to me. So that's how I have learned it. So then when I heard it from him that this anapanasati meditation is from Gautam Buddha, actually 2500 years ago, so then I understood. So it's all related. So everything, so whichever meditation you take or whichever meditation you practice, every meditation relates with your breath. It's just that focusing. So this is one of the sutra that Gautam Buddha gave it. So gate gate paragate, parsam gate bodhiswaham. So it's just that the moment you realize that your ignorance is gone, and this is how you feel gone, like it's fully we overcame it and awakened. So be it. So be it is the most beautiful phrase that I actually love it, because most of the grandmasters or great grandmasters use it, that once they achieve something higherly or related to their higher self, so they just say it, so be it. So how strongly you can say that, so be it. So it's all the way how confident you are about yourself in the present moment. So the next three things, yeah, the three devils. So here now we are actually getting to understand what path of awakening together means. So Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I think we know that, right? Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, and the next one is Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. So here, what first one says, it's just that meditate and go to nothingness. So when you go to when you do meditation, and what happens? You go to nothingness. So when we go to nothingness, uh, it's so clear that uh, with the daily practice, you start seeing yourself in a form of a cell too. You can sense every cell in your body. So that is where your maximum level of awareness will be. So when you keep doing it, you keep increasing your efficiency. So that is why they say keep practicing every day. If you want yourself to be on the right path, you need to do it every day. If you don't do it every day, so every day you won't be on your right path. So only when you do it, only those days you be in the right path. So the second one is Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Nothingness shows you the right dharma. So here, what does it say? Nothingness means just when you can be in the nothing state, again accepting, surrendering and forgiving, because these three things, after journey towards true path or inner journey, after doing all this session, then we realized, so base of all this is only these three things. So every person is preaching one or the other topic, but these three are the base things. Without that, we can't even get attain either of these. So here nothingness is so beautiful. It's just that something which can be explained in words, so it's that beautiful. So I suggest that every person has to experience how beautiful it is. Every person needs to be experienced, so you need to make right efforts. Because see, these today I have my education, and I have everything very good deeds, that what all I wanted. So uh, I can just question myself that why do I have to do all this, and I'm just 23 years old, and I have so many things to do and explore in the world, right? But still, I'm taking time, and I invest equal time even in this spirituality too. And you don't believe that almost maybe 5 to 6 hours in a day I invest in my spiritual learnings or my spiritual sessions, only just because once you understand everything is impermanence, you start making the right effort, and you start realizing why you are here. So you need to question yourself. Do you understand you're just being born and go to school, college, and then do work and earn as much as you can, you store as much as you can, and you inherit to your grandchildren also. You keep doing it this for long, but end of the day, are you being present here infinitely? Can you do that? So why are you earning so much? Why are you just doing this so much? Yes, because we have all the faculties. We are physically fit, mentally fit. We need to survive the best way we can. Yes, definitely you need to earn good, but that doesn't mean you cannot just get influenced like a college kid, just deviating from your actual path and just hanging out with your friends is not the thing we are here for. So most of the situations, or most of our life, or most of the time, that we have been influenced completely with the physical reality. We are only validating with this physical world. So that is what it is completely stopping us to make the right efforts, because we never think of ourselves. We keep thinking about the society, about the prestige, and these things keep going on. So that is what most of the people I see, they don't accept the reality, or they don't accept that they themselves possess something bigger than them. So most of the people don't accept, or they don't understand. So that is where I actually feel funny, because somewhere back in 8 to 9 years ago, even I was like that. So even I wasn't able to accept my reality that I have superpower. Then I used to just say my mom that I'm not a magician. How will I possess that superpower? So then later on I started understanding, when I started manifesting things which were completely unbelievable. So that is how you realize that you possess some superpower. You're not just this physical being. So in these three jewels, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami and Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, and the third one is Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. So we are, these are, Buddha means these are the three phrases that we always keep hearing, and the many chantings and songs on this. But the fact that I realized only these two were taught by Gautam Buddha. Then there is a third one, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. So his wife Yashodhara, look how beautiful she is. So once I started reading that book, I just started imagining her in my mind, that how beautiful she would have been. So what does she do, and how did she contribute being a wife of the great person? So in this world today, equal to Buddha, she has even been worshipped. She's even been followed by many Asian countries or many Western countries. So, goddess of mercy, she's been called today. So she says, why not path of right relation? So there were eightfold path, right? Path of right views, right intention, right speech, right effort, right actions, right meditation, right concentration, and right way of earning lifestyle. So there were all this, but she says, why not path of right relationship? When he just when he just granted over his family, and he actually wanted to move into the world, and in the process of just detaching from his physical reality, it's not that his intention that he needs to leave them alone, but he needs to make right efforts to completely detach with this physical reality. If he experiences that, then only he can understand so beautifully that what all he was missing, and what all he's left over with to learn. So today, those days, the resources were like that, so he had to do that. In these days, we don't have to do that because of the generation. It was somewhere 2500 years ago, and today we can just do it right in our homes. Today we are doing it completely, not being in a one place or in a one community. We are everyone at our places, and we are just doing it like this. So how beautiful is this? But it's always important to making the path of right relation. So what she does, when he leaves the kingdom, so she will take charge of the kingdom. So how does this happen? He promises her that he's going to come back after 7 years, after his enlightenment. So that happens after 7 years. So when he comes back to the kingdom, so what happens? She wouldn't be ready to accept the fact that he had completely turned as a Buddha Bhagwan. So she was fully filled with lot of suffering and heavy pain, which was completely he understands that, because he is fully aware of all his body. So eventually he has that capability to just understand the aura of the other person. Then he asks her that, why are you so much with suffering? What is making you suffering? Then she answers him that, see, with lots of love and with lots of future vision that I had, marriage with you, but how did you intend to take this path or choose this path? You promised me that you're going to come back. So what I thought is you would come back and be back with me, but I never expected that you would have done in this way. But the thing he answers is, I am not throwing you out of the kingdom. I gave you my place. Instead being me being a king, I want you being a queen. So that is why she is always called as goddess of mercy. So she bees in the kingdom, and she turns all the kingdom into a spiritual kingdom. How beautiful is this? And every person started meditating, and she used to suggest every person that practice being compassionate and practice meditation. This is all you need to do. There are many people, right, in kingdom. Kings and queens get to hear a lot many problems about the kingdoms and their situations. So for everything, she was the person who was supporting with the solution, that being compassionate and being cooperative, and especially practice meditation. So they started helping each other in the kingdom. So the kingdom with completely no hatred, no bad deeds. So it was so good. So let's see the three jewels. So that is how she says the last thing, Sangam Sharnam Gachami. So she was the one who starts the Sangha, who actually leads it to the people. Where Gautam Buddha, when he got enlightened himself, he never had a thought of preaching it to the people or spreading it all over the world. But these two women, stepmother of Siddhartha, Mahaprajapati, and Yashodhara, his wife. So these two take charge, and they align with Gautam Buddha, and even they get preached, and even all these, Bauddha Sangha starts preaching. So Bauddha Sangha doesn't mean a separate community. Bauddha Sangha is just a set of people with attained enlightenment. So set of people with the greater intellectual they are discussing is about the Sangha. So today we are all, in many meditation sessions we are doing, in whichever sessions that we go through, it's just about the Sangha. So how beautiful it is. So here are some good things that he had explained. That first thing is be light unto yourself. So this is the most important that I always like. Apodipapa. It's just that be light unto yourself by Siddhartha Gautam Buddha. So it's just so important that only once you start being light unto yourself, then you can't be light to others also. So first you need to light up yourself. That is what Yashodhara says. It's not enough if you just be light unto yourself. Sometimes we need light of others, or others might need light from us. So this is what path of awakening together is. So whatever you understand or whatever you learn, so it's always important to share, and it's always just being non-judgmental is not important. So when it comes to sharing, or when it comes to awakening together, it has to be non-judgmental and non-interference. So it's just that unless and until a person, or your friend, or a peer person of you, they are if they are suffering, and if they are really ready with all their mind, and they're very completely ready to accept the solution, then that is when it's all yours. The stage is yours to give them a solution. So here she says path of right relationship leads to path of awakening together. So what does these three needs? Mercy, unconditional love, and compassion. How beautiful it is. So again, you can relate those three things with these three: acceptance, forgiving, and surrenderance. And she says it: mercy, unconditional love, compassionate. And these are the main three things that she continuously kept on telling until her last breath. So it was so beautiful to hear from. But who told us this? Because this was somewhere 2500 years ago. But this was carried out by the mustard seeds woman Kisa Gautami. And she was the most latest person who actually supplied this resource to this generation. So it kept on carried away. So the world, Yashodhara says, the world needs good of everything much. Let's spread it. So that is all that Yashodhara says. And this is all about path of awakening together. So just being compassionate leads to unconditional love and mercy. So I think we are done with this. So if you have any questions, let's actually do it right after the meditation. So it's just a small simple exercise today. Let's do it in our meditation practice. Lavanya garu, we have 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes.
Yeah, we can do for 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So let's all just do a small exercise. Meanwhile, let me play a music sort of.
Unable to hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear the music too?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So just close your eyes and wherever you are, be seated. In Sukhasan, we prefer to be seated in Sukhasan and clasping your fingers like this and crossing your legs. So just close your eyes and just follow the instructions for 2 minutes. Just relax yourself. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Wherever you are, please be seated. Let's get all of us together. All our bodies, all our minds, all the elements working in each different direction. Let's all get them together to make it our superpower.
Sohana, are you there? I guess Sohana dropped so because of a network issue. Let's keep doing our meditation, and she will join and guide us. Keep observing your breathe in and breathe out. So this is the time to connect to ourselves. So let's use it to our best.
Just flow with your natural breath. So wherever you are, gather all the different parts, make up to one, wherein you possess the great and higher power and knowledge. Just the beautiful silence. You with your breath. Go with the natural flow of your breath. Just be with the bliss and observe how powerful and energetic you are in this moment. That's okay. Do not worry about any sort of thoughts. Let all the attention be with the actual process. It clearly says, wherever your attention is, there your energy flows. So let it all be with your breath. Enjoy the most blissful silence on this occasion of reconnecting with yourself. And you can see the celebrations in the deep in silence where you can meet yourself. Do not hold on to anything. Just be with the breath and enjoy the silence. For the last 2 minutes. The feeling of satisfaction and security, how secure you feel just at the moment when you meet yourself in this event. Focusing on your breath always helps you in meeting with yourself. And the way we start feeling very confident, secure, and so blissful out of all. Stay with yourself for last 1 minute. Allowing a stronger connection that can stay forever. A small intention is all it is needed. A strong intention. Last 30 seconds. Last 20 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So slowly just take your hands and place on your eyes for 5 seconds. And whenever you're ready, you can just open your eyes. So, yep. We can go with the questions if you have so any.
Give me a minute, Sohana. My
Sure.
laptop is running out of battery.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a question. So it is very important for us to do sadhana, because sometimes all the masters here, because we believe in energy. So when we are believing in energy, it's a very fortune that when we read books, we get to even know, because all the time some or the other person is not going to be next to us, like today Patriji Garu gave us this great technique, but every time when we are going through some situations, he won't be next to us, right? So what we have to do, start reading the books. So that is how he always he says that he shows the path. So everything is a hint for us to know, and for us to realize that how to end suffering, or to realize the situation or the intensity, that how things are going. So in this way, it's just that all the gurus keep coming in that form. So they are, today there is a book right here with me. It says Conversation with Buddha. So in this book, the most beautiful thing that I have understood is, um, they say that today Gautam Buddha is not physically alive, but by his dharma, or with his dharma, he's still alive, right? So he's alive in the form of his dharma. So what all he had learned and everything he had shared it in this way. So it kept on continuing. So books are always the best and beautiful things that helps us learn much more, and it's something that it can always be with us. So that is how we need to always encourage ourselves to study or read a lot of books. So that's very important, because there are, today we have Patriji with us, but there are many other masters, Ramtha or Seth, or all these masters, they're not alive physically, right? They're actually alive. So Ramta, some say that Ramta is physically alive, and he is channeling too, and that's very true, and that happens. So what happens is, when people are not in a direct connection with us, so how do we gain knowledge from all the different sources? So it's just that books are the best things that can help us gaining lot of knowledge. So for me, how do I validate books is, I just sit and meditation, and I start affirming myself that I'm ready to accept the higher knowledge, that what I am lacking in and what I had to learn. So once I affirm that, after a certain time, I just start receiving enormous messages about the realities, or about some things that I'm lacking with. So it keeps my mind itself keeps telling me that you're lacking in this, you need to overcome this. So that is how you get messages, or that is how you get to understand that what situation you are in. So after that, what happens is, I read books to confirm that whether the knowledge I attained was right or wrong. So who was the eternal master trying to guide me? Who is the angel that trying to guide me? So that is how I keep checking with books. But books are always so good to learn new things. It When it comes to my mom's situation, she keeps reading books a lot, and then she confirms it in her meditation. So it's vice versa. So it works with either ways, but books are always important. The new things you keep learning always, because every author, we just can't say that one person, if one person is telling all the truth. See, that is why there are different communities and different religions in this world, right? Because people don't understand, or people don't accept uh, things in only one form. So some set of people understand. See, it's just that people with devotion understand only devotional things. People with dimensions understand dimensional things. So it's just that is why there are these many authors. So you always need to explore. It's so good because you might, for me, the same books written by Gautam Buddha, I never understood it. But when it came it in the form of Yashodhara, I started really connecting the dots, and I started really loving all the summary points that she did and she said. And that is how you connect to your purpose, that what you actually had to do and what you're actually lacking in. So this is all just about books.
Thank you, Sohana. It was really a wonderful session, and the takeaway from your session is like we have to read books along with the meditation. That's really a thing. Yes, to confirm what we have got in meditation. It's a really good way to validate ourselves. Yeah.
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 Yep.
Probably it's like I'm sorry. There was today. It was network issue and battery went out. Let us know if you have any questions. So Hannah, in the meantime, we would like to know about yourself. Like, how did you start? And so that we missed out that.
Oh yeah. So it's I started doing meditation since third standard. So my whole family, my mom, my dad, and everyone are like when they have a baby, so they just keep telling baby to, for good deeds. They ask them to, you need to pray to God and for all the good things to inculcate in them. So that is how my parents started telling me to meditate. They used to it's a rule book for us every day. It's just that when we even meet in family gatherings or so, we used to have a meditation sessions for 1 hour or so. So even in the functions or in these things, so I was like, we were kids and we don't know what actually it is at that age, but we used to understand that okay, meditation is something so divine and important for us. We knew that was important. So that is how what we started doing. Okay, just based on the force, we used to sit and close our eyes and just be idle sometimes. And later on, as we started growing, we started understanding its significance, how it is changing our lifestyle. So slowly, the way we are facing problems or issues, or every person goes through some or the other thing. So we started thinking that we are enough lucky and fortunate to have this great tool with us, wherein it is completely helping us to deal our situations on our own. So we don't need anything here. So we possess the right knowledge, and here we are, whatever situation, if you're not fine, we used to, I can proudly say that till date I never go through any physical issues. Never. And I'm so surprised that I am enough confident that I am physically fit, because I somewhere understood that I am not just this physical body. And then I understood that there is some superpower. So every stage in my life, it was so beautiful that as a kid, I understood it in one level. As a teenager, I understood it in much more greater level. And as an adult now, I am exploring it like in enough ways as much as I can. So in all the ways. And now I can completely, the practice, the sadhana made me enough strong that it doesn't take much longer as much as it was taking me in the previous days. It's so easy to sit and connect. And then later on, how I turned is every second I started being in awareness, and that was very beautiful. And out of all, it's I started checking my energies and vibe, and this is so thing I always love to share to all the people here. See, in colleges or in workplaces, wherever you are, the way you are investing time for yourself is very important. And that is of everyone around me. I'll give you an example. In my college, whatever situation it is, whatever critical situation it is, I was the only person alone who used to get lucky and get out of it. some or the other way the energies used to work. So I was always surprised, and everyone were like, how is this even happening? And now they completely call me you're a magician. And it's just that you start focusing on your life, focusing on your thoughts, the way you want to live, including with the way you want to live, and the way how you want to pursue all the knowledge. End of the day, even we have to become Gautam Buddha Bhagwan. So that is all. That was only one thing that was stuck in my mind, because how I was very competitive. I want things only in the way as I want. I don't want it in any other forms or ways. So that is how I was so behind manifestations. So I have completely learned all the manifestations, and then I started understanding, oh, this was the difference. I was lacking in this divine energy. So Buddha was fully efficient with the divine energy. So he could able to do everything, but I wasn't able to do those much. So I started doing it. Then after a point, I realized, unless and until you take charge, this is a never ending process. It keeps going on for lifetimes and lifetimes. So it's equally important. You have 24 hours in a day, and I always take, whenever I am free, I am completely with it, either with a book or ebook or on my phone or some videos. And you don't believe me, especially in this lockdown times, 24/7 in my TV PMC channel keeps going on non-stop. So it's just that in these days, so it's so surprising that whatever situation I go through, and I just say, why is this happening? From PMC I just get to hear a solution, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now I got it. So it's like that good. And it's just about instead being clueless, instead being lost. So I started finding a purpose. I started finding a base, that how strong that I can be, just on my own feet, on my own divine nature. So that was these were the things that I have attained till date, and much more going on with the journey.
Good to hear that. Yes, I completely agree with you. Like the energies plays a magical effects. Yes, I am. Yes. Yeah. Friends, let me know if you have any questions. There is one question. Can you share more about how you came out of that competitiveness? I think that will help me, as I tend to make things perfect. That takes overthinking and to not to accept.
You want something to make it happen, and you're very competitive. So to make that happen, conditions apply, you need to accept it. So I'll tell you a clear example. I had a dream of completely getting a job in one of my dream organization. So I was hustling so much that I was efficient with my education, everything. But why things are not working? What am I lacking? I'm meditating enough. Then what is stopping me? Then I sat and I understood. I wasn't accepting the situation. I was holding it still, that I don't have something what I want. That was the first thing. And second thing, I was not comfortable with the environment. Third thing, I was not comfortably accepting or open to receive. When you are completely with that hustling thing, you won't be open to receive. So when you accept, you can open yourself to receive it. So end of the day, we need something what we want. So what all we have to do is just we have to be open to receive it, whichever way. You don't have to worry. So it's just that be open to receive it. But competitiveness has, it just shouldn't be on the target. It even has to be on the way. So it's just that in this duration, you need to accept it. Stop overthinking. When you overthink, what happens is every thought is a form of energy. So when you are overthinking, you might get multiple thoughts, multiple emotions. So your energy is scattered in all the different directions. So energy is not going straight to the target. So it's just that some thoughts are working for us, some thoughts are not working for us. So in that case, it might not receive enough amount of energy what it needs to be happened, because we always want rare things, we always want higher things. So how much energy it needs, you need to be able to release it to it. So that's very important. Unless and until you be open to receiving it, you can't release energies to it. So that's very important. So for this, first thing is overthinking. As you have mentioned, it's a very good thing. Now you realize that overthinking is stopping you, then what you had to do, I'll tell you one great example. I was telling you, right, I wanted a job from a dream organization. So it's not so easy to get a interview scheduled, at least. So I was like, how would even this thing work, or how would this happen? So I was just like, okay, let me try with my only energies, my thought. So what I did, okay, I am very abundant, I'm open to receive everything, because universe is abundance and it will give you whatever you want. And you are not aiming to harm something or harm someone. So it had to give you. So I was just like, okay, I'm just releasing it a thought. Every time I was thinking about it, I was just only in this way. Yes, I'm getting a call. Yes, I will receive an interview. I will get an interview schedule, definitely. And that really worked. Instead, every second being anxious about it, overthinking is just because of anxious. We are like we have a lot of anxiety, it says. So being anxious is not a bad thing, but it is something which is distracting you from your actual way. So you actually need something, but is it working if you are overthinking? Is it working when you're not accepting? That doesn't work. So end of the day, so there were many situations which locked me up, and that is where they taught me, that is where they made me sit. And they taught me that you need to learn acceptance, you need to learn surrendering, you need to learn forgiving. As soon as I learned these three, as soon as I implemented these three, I just got it. So I was like, oh God, why was I just being so so adamant that not open to receiving? So that's something spoiling our energy. So it's always, I can say that you have all the right to achieve anything you want, but only in a kind and humble way. But your passion shouldn't turn into a rage. When it turns into a rage, it's dangerous. So your competitiveness always has to be straight, humble, and kind. So the thought in your heart, the thought in your mind has to be very stabilized and balanced enough. That is when things manifest. So when you overthink, it's just distracting you. So that is where we have to realize. So every second, always find a positive reason why it had to work. Always find a positive reason why that had to work in your favor. So find a good reason instead of overthinking. So that should help you. I think hope I answered.
I think yeah, beautifully explained, Sohana. So let me. He has a question. Yeah. Yeah. The example helped answer my question. Yes. Yes. So Sohana, so on your example which you have said, so do you think that affirmations, the positive affirmations, will help out in situations?
Yes. So positive affirmation, see, just be talking to ourselves. Affirmations are talking to ourselves. So when are we trying to talk to ourselves? All the time we just leave ourselves in doubts that will this work, this might not work, because maybe we might have so much guilt, we might have so many different feelings going on with us. So positive affirmations doesn't come so easy. You can't affirm it so easily. So when you are affirming it, you need to practice affirming it. That is why we actually do it in meditation, so that we can tune it into our daily lifestyle. So it's not easy to affirm. When you are affirming, it needs lot of courage, lot of confidence to confidently or commandingly telling it to yourself that yes, this is working for me. So when you keep generating positive, because even right speech is also important, so when you keep generating it, then automatically you are generating positive energies for your target and for you.
Yeah, I agree with you because the positive affirmations, when you're talking to yourself, the challenge comes up there, because then there's so many questions. Why does it need to work for you? Like, why are you the person? So there are many questions. Like, I like the one which you stated, that you search for a positive answers, like why do you, because because no one else in the world will ask so many questions apart from us.
Yeah, true. You're right.
Oh
It's
yes.
like just we can escape from anyone, but not escape from ourselves. That's the toughest thing.
Yes, so that's true, because like, even if you have a goal, you would have so many questions. Why do you need,
Yes.
like, yes, right. So Anna's like, on this thing, so regarding the goals and desires, so I mean, in the olden days, they used to say like you should not have any kind of desires when you do meditation, like, because so what's your take on to it? So can we have desire?
Yeah.
Can we, what would
So
be,
every desires is based on, once you start doing this process, once
it's on mute? No, it's not. I made you co-host. Just unmute. Can you try? Oh, it's not working.
still it's
Yes,
the same
now,
issue.
now it's working.
It's working.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all about uh, desires. So desires is something that once you start meditating, once you are on this path, so it's just that on the day one we can decide what is our purpose. So this whole process initially leads us to just tune ourselves into a positive person. After being a positive person, then it will leads us to see the purpose of our life. So why are we here? To learn what all things we are here. So it's just that you have given a task. You go to a school. In school timings, you have 8 periods. So in 8 periods, you get to learn, and you get, teachers teach you. You get to learn, and you get to write. Many things happen there. Apart from school, there are 24 hours. Apart from those 8 hours, you invest 3 more or 3 to 4 hours after your school. Maybe if you have exams, you will invest much more, or else the rest of time you see for your survival. We sleep, we eat, and we have other things to do. Just the way we are here, we have our purpose, and how you want to be, or how you want to achieve your purpose in this life, it's all in your hands, your lifestyle. You can be an engineer and achieve, you can be a politician, you can engineer, you can be a businessman and achieve your purpose, and you can do in whichever forms you want. So it's just the way how you choose to be. So it's not that desireless, I say. Just desireless summarizes that not being greedy. In Telugu, it says that moha nirvana. So it's just that overcoming that greediness. So it's when you overcome that greediness, you will be open even to serve your things with other people. You might be in a position of CEO. You don't show all the rage, ego, and everything. You keep serving people in whichever way you want, because this is what I've learned from my dad. So he is a chairman of multiple organizations in India. So he is a very sweet enough and very kind enough that he never restricts people, or he never stops people for getting services from this organization. So he owns educational institutions. So we see many situations, right? There are many different people, kinds of people. Some will be able to pay the fee and some don't. Still, I because most of my childhood I spent it in my daddy's office. So it's just that when I saw those scenes, I used to just think how humble he is. So it's just that he never thinks of how this organization is going to be ahead, or how it's going to run, but instead he just thinks of that every kid needs education and we can't stop them. So it's just that he, whenever a person or a parent or asks him that, we need concessions or so, it's just that he's gonna leave it on them, that how much ever you are able to just do it, you can make it up to that, and that's all. But every kid is treated equally, every kid is served equally, and that was a very beautiful thing that I've learned. It's just that you can serve in whichever position you are, and you can be in whichever position, and if you have that mentality or mindset, you can to reach whichever position you want. So it's all about serving, giving and taking. That's it. So when you give it, when you know the policy of giving and taking, irrespective of whichever position.
Yes. Thanks. It's a example. Good.
Thank you.
Friends, do you have any more?
Efforts. I could say with practice, effort. Say you can do it. If there is a great master called Pradeep Karu from Australia, I guess. So right now he is in India. So he did straight sadhana for 6 months. It took for me from third stand to now till 23 years, but he just did it for 6 months straight. Enough time he had invested, sort of. So it's all about the efforts, how fast you are, and it is even related to your past life. In past life, how much you have covered, and in this lifetime, how much you're about to cover, and with efforts. So that is how even that matters. Maybe I wasn't that practicing meditation, so this lifetime it took me this long, like from third standard till here, so this long to actually attain this state. So it's just on the efforts. I could say the competitiveness even has to be with the efforts in the meditation also. I even take meditation very seriously. Like my spiritual growth is like just like my career growth also. I take it equally, that I am just failing to accept or understand things. I sit and work out on them, that what is actually not letting me work in the way I had to. So it's all about efforts.
I hope it has answered our friend's question. Yeah, we'll try to get a session from Pradeep. Let's see. Yeah, we'll try to get one-on-one from them. And by the way, Sohana, it's like you have got so much of wisdom, probably, yeah, with your meditation, with your books. So you're able to answer many questions, though it's not easy to answer these. So it's lovely talking to you and to share this wonderful knowledge from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all, and thank you, Lavanya Garu, for giving me this opportunity. And it was so good for me, and glad to be part of this. And I hope I had shared that what all I could do it in this. So yeah, thank you so much, so much.
Thank you, Sohana, once again. Thank you. We look
Thank
forward
you.
for a few more sessions from you.
Sure, definitely. Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you
And
again.
see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.